From the Studio 13 Studios in Splendora, Texas.
All right. Hey everybody, how's it going? Got a good looking crowd out there this evening. I've got Kelly Matledge with me. She's Vice President of the East Montgomery County Improvement District. Say hello, Kelly.
Hello everyone. Isn't it fitting that we're having this event tonight when we just had our first set of big storms roll through earlier this morning, right?
Yeah, so, you never know in this climate. Hopefully we're not going to have a whole bunch of storms this year. Now the Hurricane Center has predicted a pretty active season with 17 named storms, 9 of which will be hurricanes and 4 of which will be major hurricanes. So that's a pretty bad deal. You know, last year we had Hurricane Beryl roll through. I had a lot of damage actually. We had about $40,000 worth of damage at the house, on which my lovely insurance company, which will be nameless, only paid about half of that. So it was a lot of out-of-pocket expense and it kind of sucked. So before we get started, I'm going to call Rowdy Hayden up here. He's around somewhere. And he's going to do our opening prayer and pledge. Let's give him a hand. He's our precinct force.
Please join me as we pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we ask you to bless our event tonight, Lord. Help our words to fall on open ears that it may save someone's life one day. Lord, we ask you just to guide us and protect us. Keep us safe, Lord. Guide over our first responders, our military. And Lord, we ask you a special prayer for New Caney Fire Department as they just had a truck in an accident and they're on our hearts and prayers today. Lord, just ask you to keep us safe on the way home. And we pray, amen. Amen. Now we're going to do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the great state of Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the King of Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
All right, sir. Appreciate you. Okay, so, an event like this isn't that easy to pull off, and I formed a partnership with the East Montgomery County Improvement District early on, and they were more than willing to help. And I'd just like to thank them for really just coming out and doing everything they can to help me put this thing together. Again, we were able to get all these amazing door prizes because of the sponsors we have. Called out to the community and everybody answered yes. And I didn't get a single no. So just to make a quick list, my platinum level sponsors were MSTED, the Sticker Corporation, FD Tactics, and of course, Hank's Think Tank. My gold level sponsors were Buster Brown Propane and Service Master. And my event sponsors were Lone Star Groundwater Conservation District, Energy Texas, Roman Forest Police Officers Association. So guys, none of this would have happened without these guys coming together because I ain't got the budget to pull something like this off. So let's all give them a hand real quick. All right, and so I'm going to let Kelly introduce our first guest. And this guy's, if it's somebody you don't know, he's a good man to know. Here you go.
Our first speaker this evening is a man who's been in office not that long, but he went the ground running and needed to do some preparations that are very important when a storm comes along. You've got to do a lot of work beforehand so that there's less to do later. Our Commissioner of Precinct 4, Matt Gray.
Thank you, Kelly. She said I haven't been in office that long. I can tell you 3 years, it's felt like an eternity. So, like they said, I'm Commissioner Matt Gray. I am over Precinct 4. If you're not sure of the boundaries of Precinct 4 goes from Kingwood, up 59 to Cleveland, across to Conroe, back down to the Woodlands, and back across to Kingwood.
That's your boundaries for precinct 4. This is the biggest county, or biggest precinct in the county, excuse me. And it is a full-time job. So growing up here in East Montgomery County, when I was a kid, we'd get a storm or a hurricane before they raised the bridges on 1485 East. That just meant I was reined in and didn't get to leave anywhere for about 3 days between the San Jacinto and the East Fork and Beach Creek. I see the webs here. Y'all remember that, don't you? So things have changed a lot since then. Obviously, a lot more growth. The infrastructure's changed, and feels like a lot more storms. I don't know. Maybe they didn't name as many back then. But Hank, I'd like to commend you and thank you for putting me first, or letting me speak first. And what a great crowd, man.
Yes.
You've done a really good job. What is this, the fourth
annual.
Fourth annual. Let's give Hank a round of applause. Really good job you've done here. As you know, I'll go ahead and state the obvious. Hurricane season starts June 1st. We've got a little taste of it, like Kelly said last night, or so it felt. Luckily, we didn't have to respond to too much this morning. There were some downed trees. The ground gets saturated around here, and that's just stuff you got to deal with. So, as she indicated, we'll talk about some of the preparations that we do going into storm season and how we mitigate some of this. So I'll start with the simple stuff, where it sounds simple just saying it up here, on how we work with drainage. We've got ongoing maintenance program. We try to get in and fix the drainage issues in neighborhoods and areas where there's been long-standing problems. It's easy to go in or it would be easy to go in and Band-Aid it, or just go in and dig a little bit here. But if we've been in your neighborhood yet, you'll see we go in for usually a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 or 5, however long it takes to get the water flowing, how it needs to flow, so during these big events, you don't have water coming up in your garage or your home, luckily. So I pulled a magic trick last year. I turned $3 million into $10 million. And I was able to get that from the other precincts and other areas in the county. And with that $10 million, I turned it into 47 drainage projects around this precinct. And since then, it's turned into 53. And those are outfalls. Unlike Harris County, where you got big drainage channels and drainage ditches that are owned and operated by the county, we don't have those. So we've got outfalls. They're mainly on private property. These drainage dollars, we get the authority and the approval to go through and open those outfalls up and get the water where it needs to go. That way it's not going in your house or standing in front of your home or in your neighborhood. And what we're doing is working. I know it's working, and I'll give you an example how it's working. Former commissioners, people who lived in this community as far back as I can remember, told me I'd never be able to drain Porter Heights. You'll never be able to get the water out of there. There's been water over the road since I was in high school. On the drive out there, I can tell you now, it's draining. There's not water over the roads, and they've got a program that works. Another thing that I'm very proud of, since before I took office, Jason Millsap's in here. He'll be up here to speak here in a little bit. He's in the Office of Emergency Management. They had applied and we assisted with this GLO grant. And we have been pushing on the Commissioner, Don Buckingham, which is over the General Land Office in Austin, over the whole state. And we got awarded as a county $60 million for drainage projects here in Montgomery County. 36 million, hold on, here's the kicker. 36 million of that comes to East Montgomery County. And that was awarded. We're going through the bidding processes and getting it teed up. Of course, with government and the bureaucracy, nothing is fast. Lord knows we stand on the gas pedal and try to make it go as fast as possible. But even then, it's just not as fast as we'd like. So what that includes is desnagging Caney Creek, Peach Creek, White Oak Creek right here, and the East Fork of the San Jacinto River. If you grew up playing out in these creeks and rivers like I did, you know about every 10 feet there's a pine tree laying across them. So it's going to make a big impact, and it's going to have a big influence on how the water drains out of the tributaries here. So since I spoke to you last year, we're in a constant state of preparation for how we get ready for emergency events or big rains or hurricanes, or now add tornadoes to the list. We saw that happen here. And we're always trying to refine our disaster response. And we've got standard operating procedures and our emergency operating procedures. And we constantly review those after every big storm. We do an after-action review. We go back and talk about what went well, what didn't go well, what could we do better. And we want to make this as fast and efficient as possible, because there's nothing cool about getting water in your home, not having power for 2 days or 10 days, and being uncomfortable, having a tree through your roof. So we try to be as fast and efficient as possible. So just in the last year, a few of the things that we did to get ready for the 2025 hurricane season, you may or may not have heard, we were able to, again, work with some other precincts and get funding reallocated for Precinct 4 and work with MSED. I saw Frank here, MSED's here. They gave us a good deal on some property. And we're building a disaster warehouse over on Gene Campbell, where we'll stockpile our goods and our response items over there. So all of this running back and forth to Conroe or asking somebody for help or phoning them, we finally got it right here in Precinct 4. And we can respond and I think we have pretty fast response times, but they're faster now. So that should be complete hopefully by the end of this year. We're very proud of that project. A second big purchase that I made and authorized was a grapple truck. So normally when we go clear trees and clear the roads, it's a great all and a dump truck, that you're looking at 2 persons just for operating that, and that's not including your saw hands. This, one person can go out, they got a grapple, they can fill it up, fill up the bed, or just move it and clear it out of the road. So we're looking at grapple truck number 2. It's much more efficient, it's much more faster, getting the stuff picked up. We've got a partnership with San River Authority on flood gauges. If you saw our Facebook post, we did not misspell gauges. It's spelled G-A-G-E-S. Trust me. I was like, whoa, we can't post this. It looks like you can't spell gauges. Anyway, that's how the Coast Guard spelled it. And we got a kick out of that. Those new flood gauges are at Caney Creek at 59, Caney Creek at Peach Creek at 1485 East, Peach Creek at Roman Forest, and I can't read my handwriting on that other Caney Creek location. But we got 4 of them. When the creeks are rising, it indicates where they're at, and it gives better predictability to where the crests are at and what we're seeing, so we can respond and report better. It's a very big deal. So the last one that we've been working on since last year, since Beryl actually, is one that I've got my fingers crossed on. We've been working very hard with Entergy on. So I'll back up a little bit further and say, when you get straight line winds, a tornado, hurricane, whatever it is, we don't really refer to ourselves as first responders, but we go clear the roads and make sure that first responders can get through. If you got a big oak tree across the tree, or 10 of them, ESDs and the constables kick butt. They've got their own SAL teams, they're getting out there getting it. But we get the great alls with the grapple trucks now out there, and they get that stuff moved very fast. And that's how we open up the roadways to make sure we can pass through if there's a first aid event or whatever the case. It's very important to be able to do that, so we work very closely with these guys. We have a good system in place. But all that build up to tell you this, I'm working with Entergy, and I'm waiting for the okay that we can get one of our great alls assigned to an energy team, or one of their energy line workers assigned to one of our great all teams, because y'all may call the office, you may know people that call our office when there's a tree on the lines. If the line is touching a tree, we can't touch it. My guys, they're not energy, they're not line workers, they can't touch it, and they're not going to put their life on the line. They're not authorized to do that. They can't do that legally, and even touch the power lines. But if they got an energy group assigned to them, or vice versa, us assigned to them, they can make sure that line is neutral. We can grab it with the great all or with a grapple and move it, and 20, 30 minutes, or maybe 5 minutes, compared to 4 or 5 hours of sitting there sawing on trees and trying to get moved. So that's one thing we're really pushing for, is to get that authorized through energy. Obviously, it's a big safety deal for those guys, and there's a lot involved, but I'll be very excited if and when that goes through. So during the storm event, I kind of touched on what the different agencies do, what we do, and why it's important. And not only that, we're responsible for opening up temporary shelters. So normally we'll do something over at Bull Salas or at the old YMCA off the Creekwood exit. Hopefully you never get displaced and you never have to experience that or go there, rely on it. Also, we've got the Office of Emergency Management works very close with us. Those guys bring, you've seen the big building out there, the big trailer. They come in and cool off the first responders and help us. They're the ones that help us work with the Red Cross and also get those shelters set up and go off without a hitch. We work and coordinate to get ice and water where you can drive through. I can't remember how many cars we were serving a day, but it was a lot. It's a big deal, you know, when you're without power and maybe you're older than I am or you got small children, things like that become an issue. So they told me I only had 10 minutes, so I could go for another 30. But we're busy. We're working hard to represent you. We're working hard to make Precinct 4 a great place. It is a great place. We're working hard and always trying to get better to make sure that when these events do happen, we respond very quickly and very efficiently. So, and we have a great program with, like I said, the ESDs, the offices over in Conroe, the Office of Emergency Management, the Sheriff's Department, the Constable's Department, and all the agencies, you know, that count when that stuff happens. The guys that we don't like to think about until we need them. So, with that being said, I'm your Commissioner, Matt Gray. I hope we don't get any hurricanes or any major storms. Boy, would that be nice. But God bless you and thank you for coming out. Good job, Hank.
All right. I guess you turned it on. Okay. So next up, we have Jason Millsaps, Office of Emergency Management. Jason also decided to park his big ambulance outside, and if you'll stick around after this seminar, he'll be giving tours of this thing. I'm going to let him describe it a little bit to you to start out with, and hopefully he'll be getting that. Jason, thank you, sir.
Who has the clicker?
There's a clicker?
Who's controlling the PowerPoint? I see it. Who's changing? Okay. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jason Millsaps. I'm the Chief of Staff for the County Judge. I'm also the Emergency Manager for the county. And as Commissioner Gray has alluded to, his office and our office and the Judge's office have to coordinate before, during, and after storms. You saw a lot of this go on this year. Unfortunately, Montgomery County, we see storms. If it's flood, ice storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, we've dealt with them over the last few years more frequently than not. As Hank alluded to, I brought the AMBUS. That is a special operations vehicle outside. That is a large ambulance, so to speak, but it's multi-purpose. This past weekend, it was at the Woodlands Pavilion, assisting with medical operations there. It was hot. We had a long concert. We treated over 103 people in that bus on Saturday. Only 7 of them had to go to the hospital. 2 years ago, similar type concert, similar time of the year. Didn't have it then. Over 100 went to the hospital. That clogs up. That's 100 ambulances off the street and 100 beds in the ERs taken up just for people trying to enjoy themselves and go to a concert. So we devised a plan with them to use that in multiple ways. The Commissioner alluded to us using it for rehabilitation services when our first responders, our fire departments especially, are out on these large structure fires. If I can get it to them, as tree tug canopies are sometimes challenging, we'll drive it as close to them as possible. They can get in, cool off, hydrate, eat some chow, whatever it takes to get them rehabilitated so they go back to work versus spending more time cooling off and not working. It really helps those guys out a lot. And so I'll be available after this evening, after everyone spoke. I'll stay around, and if you want to come in and take a look at it, it'll be here to tour. Otherwise, without the clicker, I'm kind of clueless.
Clicks on the clicker.
Clicks on the clicker, okay.
We're hunting for it.
Scroll through it. Just keep scrolling like you do with the commissioner, and I'll talk. Try not to read. I won't bore you with the reading. It's so small from the back rows. But the Office of Emergency Management is directly responsible for reporting to the judge. The judge is the chief of emergency management for the county by statute. And as such, he appoints someone like myself to oversee the day-to-day operations and really coordinate the response that the county has. My job is not only to ensure that we're coordinated and prepared for the storm, but also how we respond during the storm. But the bigger part of my job is to recover our expenses. And so we spend an enormous amount of time. The storm itself we can prepare for, the response during we can handle, but the 8, 9, 10 years it takes to recover funds from the federal government to get us back on our feet is a laborious project, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to do that. We've gotten a little better at it with certain projects like Hurricane Beryl, for instance. The county spent about $26 million in debris costs responding countywide to picking up debris from Hurricane Beryl. As of a couple weeks ago, we've already recovered over $9 million of that back, and we're still waiting for the remainder to come back. So that's good news. To put it in perspective, prior to my arrival, Hurricane Ike, if you can remember Hurricane Ike back in 2008, the county just closed the books on Hurricane Ike about a year and a half ago. And that's how long it took the federal government to make us whole. So we're working very diligently with FEMA and with our federal partners to speed that process up. The commissioner talked about some projects that we've been working on as a joint process. Some of these things were started prior to his arrival, but a lot of this stuff has been stepped on the gas pedal with a commissioner who's helpful and who wants to get these things done, as you have with Commissioner Gray. I've been through 3 commissioners in Precinct 4 in my position, and I'm going to tell you, you got a great commissioner now, because every day he's talking to us, he's communicating, telling us what he wants. He's a great cheerleader for East Montgomery County, and I enjoy that a lot. I'm an East Montgomery County boy myself, so it's good to have somebody fighting for us back in Conroe. And it's also nice with the judge working with him, seeing the importance of getting things done in East Montgomery County. As you can see on the screen, we have 4 areas that we deal with: preparedness, response, mitigation, recovery. The largest one is recovery. Getting you folks back on your feet and getting the county back on our feet as fast as possible is the biggest challenge that we take and undertake in the office. Some of the things that we've talked about today with the commissioner talking to kind of help us recover and get and respond to is these disaster warehouses. We have a very large warehouse in Conroe, 70,000 square feet. It's like Costco for emergency management, from floor to ceiling, everything you can imagine to respond to a disaster is in that warehouse. Because we can sometimes get cut off from East Montgomery County and even Magnolia, or just the distance alone to get supplies out here during a storm is sometimes challenging. We utilized some federal funds in the last few years to build what the commissioner talked about, was that disaster warehouse here in East County. We're building another one identical to it over in Magnolia as well. So the main warehouse will feed into the smaller warehouses throughout the year to keep them stocked and to a certain level ahead of storm season. And so if we have a storm come challenge us here in the county, we can pull from that level here in East County quickly and efficiently. As the commissioner alluded to, each of the commissioner's offices assist my office with shelter operations. So when we reach that point where we need to open up a shelter, we reach out to the commissioner's office and talk to them about the plan, and they find the facility for us. It's already pre-identified, but sometimes they've guessed in them, using them. We have to work on this because we get these things set up before the storm arrives. So even 3 or 4 days out, people are still playing bingo and still trying to enjoy life. But we have to open them up, get them stocked, get them open. The commissioner's offices do that. I will say, out of all 4 of our commissioners, Precinct 4 has the most employees that have gone through shelter operation training and are prepared to run these shelters. And so that's a big help to us as well, because I can put the first responders, I call them first responders, the Red Cross, in other areas of the county that don't have that luck with local employees that are capable of running a shelter. As you see here, community outreach, that's what we're doing here today, talking to you fine folks. As everyone's going to talk today about, we have hurricane season. It starts in just less than a week. It's supposed to be a busy season. If you recall, last year, Hurricane Beryl, B means we received the second storm of the year, and it was a little less than a year ago. And so considering the forecast this year and it being right around the corner, it's very possible we could see another early named storm. and we have to be prepared for that. Last night, with last night's storms blowing through here, kind of caught us off guard a little bit. We were forecast to have rain, but not forecast to have severe weather. There's some positives and some negatives to that. Negatives are some people weren't prepared. Positives are some of the trees that don't need to be around during hurricane season are now gone. And so we'll get them cleaned up and off the power lines, and hopefully Entergy has less problems to deal with the hurricane season if we have another storm, because nature has pruned itself. Our MRC Corps, they work with us on the AMBUS. They are a good group of people. These are volunteers that are EMTs, paramedics. Some of you guys are CERT qualified. I saw some CERT folks in the room. We have a CERT team here in the county. We manage the CERT team. These are also volunteers who come to our office, get trained, and can help us in times of crisis. Not just Montgomery County, but help our neighbors too. As you saw a couple of weeks ago, I'll toot the commissioner's horn one more time. We have a wildfire strike up in the Cut and Shoot area just north of the county in San Jacinto County. And the commissioner and his team were on the ground with us and all the firefighters really early on in that. And what do you need, Jason? I got guys who can drive trucks. I got whatever you need. And that partnership and being able to work with each other really helps out. When these disasters happen, the emergency manager is really the logistics operations chief for the county. I'm there to ensure that Chief Carter over here in Porter is not needing something. If he needs it, I've got it. If I've got it, I'll get it to him. If I don't have it, I'm going to ask the state for it, and I'm going to get it as quickly as possible. So I'm like the logistics guy. But preparing for that, I've got to think outside the box. What do we need to do? What are we going to need in these storms to kind of get that stuff geared up and prepared for? And that's through planning and proper planning. That's a picture of the Trump rally. We had 6 days to plan a Trump rally, and despite all the sloped roofs and everything, we didn't have any problems. So I think we did a good job. 83,000 people in that picture, so we had a good time. Someone asked earlier about our school over here in New Caney. There's right here the old school there at 1485 and 59. That's a picture of us in our school. We now own that facility. We bought that in December. That is our first responder training facility for active attacks, active threats. And so all of our law enforcement partners across the whole state come here to train. So it's a great thing to have in our backyard. But preparing for hurricane season is not just going to get a couple canned goods and get some stuff in the refrigerator, because you're not going to have power. So you think of things that you don't need power to cook and don't need power to keep shelf stable. You box goods, canned goods, things like that. Don't go hoarding toilet paper like everybody does. This is East County. We're not the Woodlands. We don't need 700 rolls of toilet paper. Just be sensible about what you stock, but you need to do it now. Hurricane season starts next week, but like we saw last night with a couple little storms, we could have a power outage. That's why you don't want to stock up a bunch of meat and produce and frozen stuff. It's not going to, one, last you all of hurricane season, and two, power goes out, how long is that going to last you in the home? So really think about what you need to build your kit for your home, and not just for you, but your pets. So medication, water for at least 7 days, and food for 7 days for each member of the household, you and pets included. And that's a big one. Pets are a big thing. People seem to forget that. And that's hard to stockpile for a pet because dog food's expensive. But keeping that extra week on hand during these next few months is crucial. That way, if stuff does go down and the infrastructure gets disrupted, you can still function. And so I don't know if that's my time to go, but I'll consider that my time to go. Oh, of course. This room or So, like I said, I will stick around this evening, answer any questions. If I'm not in here, you can find me in the great big old bus outside. We have a great working relationship from our office with all of our first responders, the constable's agency, our fire agencies, the hospital district, and especially the commissioner's office. I feel as a 8-year employee of the county, it's never been better as far as coordination between our efforts and all of these partners that we have. And I look forward to continuing to do that. And I have, hopefully, year 5, I get to come back out and do this again. Hank's a great partner of ours too, and spreading the message. So appreciate your time, and keep hurricane preparedness on your mind. It's a good weekend to go to Sam's Club and Costco and get prepared. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. That's good reminders for everybody to do it now, not when we actually really need to do it. So our next guests, our next speakers are the guys that you hope you don't see at your house during a disaster, because that means you're probably in a bad way. Those are our first responders. So let's bring up again Constable Ronnie Hayden and Porter Fire Chief Carter Johnson to talk about some of those rescue missions and things that they're prepared to do. And again, we do apologize that Chief Howard Reinwald could not be here tonight because they were involved in an accident. We don't usually think of our first responders being in an accident, but it does happen. So we hope that they're okay.
All right. Thank you. Emergency management did a good job of planning, so they covered most of our slides already. So just want to cover a couple of quick things here. Really want to make sure everybody understands terminology. So weather types, you've got tropical depressions, tropical storms, and then category 1 through 5. So a tropical depression is winds under 39 miles an hour. Tropical storm is 39 to 73. So depending on where you were in the county last night, you might have experienced a little bit of tropical storm winds based off of the wind speed. And then category 1, 74 through 95. And then we really start talking about what type of damage. Category 1, you're going to see some type of damage. And then obviously when you get into category 4, it's catastrophic, and category 5 is catastrophic. Like I said, the slides aren't showing up, but really when you start looking at the Weather Channel or your local news source, they have a cone of uncertainty. If your residence is inside that cone of uncertainty, you need to prepare. Hurricanes shift all over from the initial, when they start saying, hey, it's an option. We've seen them slated to go into Corpus Christi, and they've hit Houston. So if you're inside that cone of uncertainty, you need to make sure you continue to watch it. And then my favorite is who understands the difference between watches and warnings? It's Tuesday, so it's Taco Tuesday today. So a taco watch is we have the ingredients and tacos are possible. Tornado warning is we have tacos right now. We're going to be eating tacos. So they cover the name of the storms. Prepare ahead of time. Build a kit. Make sure you have a kit. Make sure it's portable. You might have to be leaving your house in a not necessarily a planned event, so make sure that kit can be pulled out. Make sure you have batteries, and a big thing that people forget about is cash. Once the internet goes down, the only way you're going to be able to buy stuff is going to be able to pay cash for it. Stores will get back open, your gas stations, your Walmart, but sometimes the infrastructure, the cellular internet, or especially the internet, can't run credit cards. So make sure you have a little bit of cash there. And then it was talked about, don't forget about your pets. And then if you have a portable generator or a generator, make sure you keep it away from your house. We ran, during the last storm, we ran probably across the county several hundred CO calls. Anywhere from portable generators to home generators that were producing carbon monoxide back inside the residence. So just make sure that you've got those far enough away from your house. And then have service kits for those. For the areas that were out for 5 days, even your standby generators really aren't designed to run 5 days straight. You might be changing the oil filter or your batteries, let them cool down. So make sure you have a set for that. And then the last thing before I turn it over to the constable here is Montgomery County does a program called Smart 911, where you can go in and register your house. Say, I have 4 occupants that live here. They have a medical necessity. Some of that information can be pre-built into the system here. Anybody have any questions on preparation? Great. Constable?
Got it. So, like the fire chief said, the best thing you can do for us is be prepared. Get out before it gets here. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people living in low-lying areas will stay to the very last minute, and before they know it, it's too late. So, at 2 o'clock in the morning, in the dark of night, they won't come into their house in a boat. A few of the things that we like people to, if it comes to that, we have to come get you in a boat. There's a lot of dangers for us. Power. We're in water. We don't know where the power's at. It's dangerous for us. Floating objects in your yard, secured floating objects. Elderly people, handicapped, wheelchairs, those don't go well in boats. Pets are one of our worst. Even the friendliest dog will bite a first responder when they come up there in a boat. So that's some of the dangers that we encounter. A lot of times, be prepared. I can tell you in some of the disasters, there was people on the roofs of their house for a couple hours, and they were up there waiting. We knew they were there, and we were coming, It's just getting to them was the problem. So have a kit, have an emergency kit on hand. Pets, once again. The boats that we're coming to get you in are loud. They're not public friendly, but they're good. I'll talk a little bit about how well we are prepared. Emergency management does a great job getting us resources that we need. Your local improvement district right here has put more money into making sure you're safe than probably any other entity. They've bought boats, they've bought equipment. They just recently bought a vehicle to be equipped with chainsaws to get some of these trees off the road. The last storm we had was not really a rain and bad weather. It was more of a wind event, and we had a tornado recently. So MSED sees that. They help us prepare for when it comes again. We have several different organizations that help us when this comes around. On Point Rescue's here, the Taylor's organization's here. Those are great organizations that will come in and help after we get people out of their house. They'll make sure they have the transportation they need, the resources they need. The Houston H-Town Dream Center in Splendora, they're great about it. They also have a hurricane relief event coming up that I wish I had the information on. Maybe we can post that on our website to raise money for the after effects. The after effects is where we actually need help most of the time. Most of the time it's not. We don't need people in aluminum boats coming up trying to help. It creates more danger for us. It's the after fact that we need the help. Jason and the chief pretty much covered everything. Be prepared, have a kid, get out. One thing we do is law enforcement after the storm, after everybody's safe, we continue to get in our boats and go to your house. Even though it may have 2 foot of water in it or more, we're patrolling for looters, making sure your stuff's still safe while you're away from your house.
Yeah, one of the things I want to cover, and the commissioner covered on the stall teams. So constable I might have different color uniforms on, and the commissioner might have a different patch on their shoulder. When we're out there doing stall work, we all look the same. We're out there working as a team. We'll share the areas that, hey, I have a team already on Porter Lane, so the commissioner doesn't need to send somebody, versus he's taking an area that we have a high priority on. So we operate in a unified command, and we're able to prioritize resources. So we're all not showing up and saying, well, where's the tree we're supposed to cut? Because we're working so well together, we're sharing that information, and the partnership between the constables, they put us all together. And then once we make them smaller, or the commissioner, they're hauling them off, or sometimes they're just too big for us and they just push them out of the way. We've got some great partnerships with the different public safety agencies and the constables, where we might have a different patch on our shoulder. We work extremely well together, and we don't see that across the county as much as we do here. I can tell you here in East Montgomery County, the partnerships that we have are leaders across the county for that program. So you can do that in Smart 911, or the state of Texas also has a STEER registry. And Jason, can you help me on the acronym for STEER?
It's the state of Texas Emergency Alert System. So good, you can talk about
Yeah, state of Texas Emergency Alert System. Once you go in there, you go and register any medical fragile people, and then in the time of a disaster, the state of Texas through OEM will reach out and try to contact you. And if they're unsuccessful, eventually a first responder will make a knock on the door to say, hey, we show that a medical fragile person here, Miss Smith lives here, she's on oxygen, is she okay? I can tell you that we urge y'all to make sure that's updated. Last storm, I had the unfortunate or fortunate opportunity to do a lot of those, and I felt terrible knocking on a door, and they said, well, that was my dad, he passed away 2 years ago. So we're opening up old wounds that are fresh memories. But please update that. If you have a loved one that might be on that STEER database, please update it to make sure we get valuable resources to the people who need it, and then also that we're showing up and not disturbing a harsh memory that's in the system. So please update that. But to answer your question, STEER or Smart 911 would work. Preferably the STEER, because it goes out, because if we're busy in Montgomery County and we bring in out of Montgomery County assets, they have access to the statewide database.
Steer is
S-T-E-R?
STEAR, Texas Steer.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm from California, the oldest is.
We don't have landslides.
Earthquake, I'll take an earthquake before I'll take this weather. You keep talking about a kit, is there a place that I can go and get that list of what would be in that kit, or is it pretty much universal like that?
I think we have one posted on our website. If not, we'll get one up shortly. Montgomery County OEM has one. And if you just Google hurricane kit, there'll be some good information in there. The key is make sure you have medications if you're on any medications, food and water for about 7 days. We're trying to set up pod sites fast, but those lines are long and sometimes we can't get them out and you can't get to us. So make sure you're self-sufficient. I'm here from the government, I'm here to help. It might take a little bit of time.
One thing about in your kit is a flashlight or a flare. You think about it, we're coming in 4 and 5 foot, 6 foot, sometimes higher water. We can't see street signs, they're in the water. We can't see your address on your mailbox. True story, one of the last flooding events, we had to use a drone at 2 in the morning to go fly and to see where some people were. Because they could tell us their address, but that was about it. And everything looks different when the water's up. So we used the drone to actually locate these people, and they had a flashlight, so the drone was able to go above the house, and we took the boat to them.
I'm in a gated community, do you guys have centralized access numbers that you can?
Yeah, so the question is, if you live in a gated community, can first responders get in? So here in Montgomery County, through the county ordinance, any gated community has to have what's called a Knox box or a Knox lock on it. And all public safety has access to the Knox program. We carry a key in our vehicle that can unlock the gates.
We don't have a key, but we have bolt cutters in the police department.
We'll get you a key. I know somebody from OEM, we should be able to give them a key.
Big trucks.
Yes, ma'am.
How many feet are recommended for your children to be away from the housing? Now, you said that you've been having calls that you went to.
Yeah, I would say at least 5 to 10 feet away. You really need to look at how the exhaust is set up. So a lot of houses have what's called a soffit vent, which is, if you look underneath the eave of your house, there's a whole bunch of little holes up there for your attic to breathe. You don't want your generator underneath there. You need to pipe it up above the soffit vent so it doesn't get out. But on a portable generator, 10 to 15 feet away, and then never put them in your garage. What we had happen during one of the cases that we ran, people were worried about theft, and so they put their portable generator in their garage. And all it did was sit there and just build up until we had enough seal in the house. Very fortunate here in East Montgomery County for our area, we didn't have some fatalities, but we had some extremely high numbers.
I sat up here and talked about being prepared, and I got to thinking, Carter and I, we're a week before we know a storm's coming, we're working already. I should have my wife up here. She's the one that's prepared. Yes. I haven't been home during a disaster or prior to a disaster, and I don't know when. But our wives could probably be the experts on how to prepare.
Yeah, I almost brought the kit from the house that my wife put together. But we talk about being prepared. So just in East Montgomery County alone, Porter has 3 high water vehicles, 3 boats. The constables have several boats, several airboats. So we team up. So while we can get in some of the swift water, they have airboats that do 2 different jobs, and we complement each other on that. And then East County has several high water vehicles and boats.
And once again, a shout out to MSED for helping us with those boats. When there's a need for something like that, MSED, the board members see it, and they're so good to us to help us get those needs. So shout out to them. Commissioner's office, he's been really good about providing those needs that a lot of other areas doesn't need.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for all you do. Don't run me out of the room, but I'm a baseball throw into Harris County from Montgomery County. And I assume that many in the room are right close. Is there ever any overlap of emergency services between the 2 counties, being that so many of us are right on the line?
Yeah, so here in the Montgomery County and throughout the state, we have a very strong mutual aid agreement. So we'll pull assets from their area, they'll pull assets from us. And then on the fire side, there's a program called the Texas Fire Interstate Mutual Aid System. So if we get overwhelmed here, we'll bring in units from Dallas or Amarillo or El Paso, and they'll start backfilling our organizations, because after a couple of days, our personnel need to get home to check on their family, so they'll come in and help backfill or help take the surge capacity. During Beryl, we had 3 or 4 TIFMAS teams in the area assisting us during the disaster. So we work quite well with our counterparts in Harris County and other counties. Yes, ma'am.
For the people that are not from here, if you will, and I'll think if you're quick, you need toilet paper, paper plates, plasticware, towel, wash rag, any canned goods that can be opened either by a pop or keep you a handheld can opener. You don't need anything that's got to be heated. You don't know if you're going to be able to heat it. Get you some Vienna sausage, Spam, tuna, anything you can eat by hand. Snacks, crackers, anything like that, just quick. Shampoos and bars of soap.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so we're getting close to the halfway point. Next up, I've got the electrical genius in the house, Brian Garcia. He's with Energy Texas. They've been doing a lot to strengthen the infrastructure, and he's going to come up and talk about that. Brian, where are you?
I'm right here.
Come on.
Hello, my name is Brian Garcia. As a convention with Entergy Customer Service, and I never have been an engineer, so everything you said about electrical genius is a lie. That's not true. But I can tell you guys about how to get prepared for a hurricane. I'm from New Orleans originally, and have lived through probably just about as many as you guys have. But as far as slides go, I guess we're just doing this telepathically. No? Okay, Jennifer, change it wherever you are. Hey, Don, how are you? All right, so a little bit about Energy Texas. We're the electrical company. We have a lot of poles, a lot of wire, and a lot of people. I think the most important thing to take from this slide is that we are invested in our communities. The guys that work our linemen, the folks that make energy happen, are the people that live here. We're based in, well, I say based in, we have Beaumont and Woodlands headquarters, but like our folks, like our office right down the street is where my office is. And so again, we are part of this community, we understand these communities, and we have lived through the same kind of things that this community has. And so we have a heart for doing the very best work that we can when it comes to storm restoration. Next. Next. So we know that storms are happening with greater frequency. It's just a fact of life. You look at the history and there are more and more of them. Next one. In the last 50 years, 9 category 4 or 5 hurricanes have hit the U.S. mainland, 6 in the past 8 years. Again, this is not a statement about anything, but the numbers don't lie. This is what the reality has been in this area, and that is what we take into account when we are making plans as your electrical utility provider. Next one. And this is another one, there's a lot of words on there. You guys know what a category 1 versus a category 5 is. A category 5 is catastrophic. And that number up there, we said greater than equal to 3 weeks. Who knows? When we think about category 5s, these are big storms. We're talking about Katrina, right? And that took probably months, honestly, to get everything back online. Now, fortunately, here at Energy Texas, we've gotten really good at responding very quickly and very safely to catastrophic events. Just in my time, I've been with the company now for almost 16 years. You know, Imelda, Harvey, some of those big storms, and we've again just gotten really good at it. We consistently win awards across the board with our restoration effort, doing it safely, doing it quickly. So again, a lot of experience to get really good at something. Let's go to the next one. So this idea of preparing ahead of time is not something that we just suggest to you guys. It's something that we practice every day. I know there are a few folks here. I know Mark was there. We had our annual storm drill today. We actually did something different this year. We opened it up to a lot of public officials. Folks from the commissioner's office came out as well. And we go through step by step and like, all right, if the hurricane were to happen, this is what each group does. We knock off the cobwebs, we remind ourselves what it's like to respond to a storm. That kind of preparation is not something you can do when the storm's in the Gulf. We're constantly doing that. We're constantly investing in our infrastructure. There's been a lot of talk about the different grid. It mentions hardening, resiliency is another word that you hear about, but essentially building up a system that is going to be more resilient to stronger and stronger storms, because again, that is what we are experiencing in this community. We're always doing this work though. It's not something that we look at the storm, like the storm forecast and think, oh, we better get on this. Like, no, this is always going on. We are consistently investing in our communities to make sure that we can be as resilient and reliable as possible. Next one. So how the electrical system works, something that's unique. People a lot of times say, hey, how are you? Part of ERCOT, CenterPoint, what's the difference? Something we are not part of ERCOT, we're outside of it. We are what's called a regulated utility. And the most important thing to remember about that is we are different from other electrical companies that are part of ERCOT because we, soup to nuts, own the entire system. We own the power plant, the transmission, the substation, the distribution, even the meter on your house. It says Entergy on it, that's ours. So the entire process, it's not broken up by different companies owning everything. So we're able to collaborate. Like that storm drill we had today, we had the VP over all of the power plants in Texas. We had the grid boss for all the transmission. We had the guy over all the substations in the same room, going through the same drill, making sure that we are all singing from the same hymnal and approaching the storm restoration with the same methodology. And if you've ever had to deal with a reliability system that is broken up into different companies, it is way harder because you've got to work not just between like departments, but you've got to work between companies with different cultures and different ways of communicating. Trust me, having it organized this way from a restoration perspective makes it a lot easier. But anyway, you know, you've got a power plant, it transmitted through the big wires to a substation like the one we're building up on 59, the mill bend. It goes from there through the smaller wires to the transformer outside your house and down to service to your meter. That's in a nutshell how it works. Now there's a lot of things in between, like, all right, is it solar, is it wind, is it gas fired? In Texas, we're generally, I think we're up to 80% now gas fired. Our electricity is generated that way. Anyway, but this is how the electrical system works. Why is that important? We're going to get back to that, but when you think about restoration, if you think about this as a big chain about how electricity is created and delivered to your house, if you take away one link out of that chain, what happens to the chain? Falls apart, right? We've got to make sure every link in that chain is working so that you can get electricity to your home or your business. Next slide. So the first step, before we can do anything else, we've got to assess it. We send out thousands, or depending on the storm, okay? We send out tons of engineers and designers. These guys go out and they start at the substation and they start at the power plant and they write out every inch of line to look at what's damaged so that they can assess and know what work needs to be done. They start at the power plants, like I said, then they look at all the transmission lines. They get to the substations. Are they safe? Next slide. Then they go, they're looking from the substation, looking at every foot of distribution line. And then we go into And so once they assess that, then they're able to figure out where do we need to start sending the line. And you know, if you've been through some bigger storms, you know, we will sometimes bring in thousands of line workers to help our guys out to supplement and get the lights back on. And that's how we do it. And we fix everything in that chain. Remember, we're making sure all the links in the chain are working. And then once we get to the point that, okay, we know that the big stuff is working, great. Let's look at our essential services. Fire, police, EMS, are they working correctly? And then we look at, then it becomes a math game. I always say it's essentially you're going to look at the biggest chunk of people that you can get on as quickly. And that's how we do it. And then once we get those big groups on, then it's the onesie twosie thing. Okay, well, my house is out because there's a tree on the surface. All right, and so it's that's really the kind of hard part. But that's again, the methodology by which we approach our restoration is making sure every link in that chain is ready to go and serve you electricity. Next slide. So safety hazards. When this is going on, the gentleman that spoke before me, they've mentioned a lot of these things, but some of the big stuff, if there's a line down, treat it like it's electric. It's not worth it, I promise. It happens every year, you never want to hear about it. But if it is energized, that's it. It can be a catastrophic loss for your family. We don't want to see that. So if you see a line down, treat it as energized. If you have a generator, this is a big deal. The CO2 is huge and probably the biggest concern, but I'll tell you, every storm, we will have an issue with our line workers are up working on stuff, and if it's not hooked up correctly, and this is why you gotta have somebody that knows what they're doing, not getting a licensed electrician goes a long way. YouTube can teach you a lot of things, but I prefer that this not be one of them. But if your generator's not hooked up correctly, it will backfeed onto our system. And if our guys are working on it, they think that line's killed out. Because from our perspective, we de-energize everything. Well, Mark Lindenberg here has a generator, it's a little power plant putting electricity to our system that we don't know about. And so our guys are now in danger and they get shocked. We don't want that either. So make sure your generator is set up correctly. Gas, again, they mentioned the danger of CO2, watch that. Flooding, when you decide to return home. Ice above, we didn't really mention that because we're not heading into ice season, we're heading to hurricane season. But yeah, generally, if there's ice on the lines, it can fall off and that's dangerous as well, so be aware. Next slide. So the main thing, and this is the same thing everybody's saying, have a plan ahead of time. Have a kit ahead of time. If you go to our website, ma'am, I'm trying to remember who was it that was asking. On our website, we do have a very detailed kit of the things that we suggest you put together. Our storm center's got tons of information, but have that plan ahead of time. Like once the time to act has arrived, the time for preparation has passed, right? Is that the saying? So know what you're gonna do ahead of time. Like my family, I know that I'm gonna be busy if it's a category 3, so category 3 and above, my wife and kids are gone. They're going up to Dallas to be with my cousin and that's it. So we don't have to worry about it. Have your plan for your family, whatever makes sense. Have your kit ready so you don't have to worry about it when it comes. When you come home, again, just be aware, keep your head on a swivel. Things are gonna look very different. So you've gotta be aware of your surrounding, that situational awareness. Keep yourself safe. As the storm approaches, just keep it in touch. I think being aware of as much information as you can get. At this point, we've all got the most powerful computer in our pockets. We can find information about the weather. Just stay in the loop. Be aware. Next slide. We have invested tons to try and get you guys the best information as quickly as possible. Just before I came up here, I was trying to get information put onto our map about the outages last night. We try and have the most up-to-date information on our app. So download our mobile app, it's free. You can, if you're a customer and you sign up for text, we will alert you if you're out that way. Our website, MyEntergy, is also very informative. Worst case scenario, you could call us, wouldn't recommend it, but you can do that if you're into it. But if you want to download our app, the QR code's up there and you can download that for free. Next slide. This is what our outage map looks like if you've never seen it. If it's green, that means it's clean, you've got power. If it's red, that means there's an outage, and there's like a little chart that shows what just a legend of what everything stands for. And we've recently upgraded our outage map, and I was able to help with it. I was very proud of it, but now we've got it in English and in Spanish. It's just kind of a toggle. You can see it whatever language is most comfortable for you. But essentially, you can zoom down into your neighborhood and they see exactly which part is on and which part is off. And again, we are constantly updating that. When we're in a big storm, there are people sitting in our service centers that their only job is to take the information as soon as they get it and put it on that map. So that really is going to be the most up-to-date stuff you can get. Next slide. So again, staying informed. If you're signed up for notifications, we will push those through phone and text, however you sign up for it. Our Storm Center online has got terrific information. It's a great resource if folks haven't lived through storm season. Our social media is another way that, again, our comms team is constantly updating with whatever information they can during a storm. And then the outage map is great, like you guys just saw. Next slide. So, scam attempts. This is something that unfortunately has become more and more part of our society. Whenever something like a horrible storm happens, people never want to let a catastrophe go to waste. And so be aware, we are never going to ask you for personal information or ask you to send us a Visa gift card to pay your debt. Certainly not during a storm. So just be aware, scam attempts increase. You would think, oh, we're going through a hurricane, certainly people are trying to help. Yeah, but there's bad people out there. And that's just another fact of life. So just be aware during a storm, scams go up. Next slide. And that is the back of an Entergy employee. Next slide. All right, so in conclusion, again, it's been a pleasure. It's so good to look at and see familiar faces. I've been in East County now for the last, I guess, 5 years now, and it's a fantastic place to live. You guys have a great community, and it is so great because of some of the things that have been mentioned. You have leadership that works together, and we're proud to be part of that and help make you guys live safely and as fully as possible. So thank you.
Questions? Ma'am.
For the first 2 years after I moved out here at New Caney Heights, I tried to get the neighbor's tree, which is overhanging the ditch over the power lines, trimmed. Everybody kept saying it was the cable companies, it was the power company. Nobody would trim that tree, and it is still over the power lines.
And you've called 1-800-ENERGY to report it?
I called, yes.
All right, come talk to me afterwards, please.
Okay.
That's your hand. Anybody? Mark, you've got a question. I know you do.
Sorry about that backhill.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. I'll be hanging out afterwards.
Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. So if you need to stand up or get some water or do anything like that, now would be the time. But we're also going to pull out some tickets for a couple of door prizes right now.
Oh, you want to take care of it?
You can bring it to people, or they can
What are we doing?
cell phone pack.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, so the first thing we've got is a cell phone recharger. These are nice, fits nicely in my pocket. And so I'm going to let Frank pull out first ticket.
Okay, it's a blue ticket and it is 674046. 674046.
Come on up if you got it.
I was hoping for the generator.
There you go.
Here's another one.
And we're going to do the same thing, another one, another cell phone charger.
It's another blue ticket, 674042. 674042. Cell phone charger. I can pull out another ticket. Okay, this one's red, 679112.
Come on up. Start charging that cell phone right now. Appreciate it.
Ice chest.
Cooler, 48 quart cooler. This holds about, I don't know, 20 beers or so. Depends on how much ice you have.
Okay, red ticket, 679099. 679099.
Wow. I really expected a little bit more excitement. There you go. All right, what do we got next? Another cooler. This one holds 21 beer.
674079. 674079. Nice brand new cooler.
friends, are the handheld crank radios, and I think they do other stuff too. Yeah, it's a flashlight, it's a radio, it's a power bank, and it's everything. I want to see some excitement about this one going on.
674002. Right now.
I've got its twin sister right here.
They are very nice. I just bought one myself because, hello, it's going to be hurricane season. 679093, red ticket.
All right, come on. Thank you very much. Cool. And now we have a portable digital LCD television. I want you guys to know that this is the perfect thing to watch Hank's Think Tank on after a storm. So it gets YouTube, it gets everything else, and it's 7-inch. And actually these are pretty nice, so let's go. What you got?
Blue ticket, 674059.
Subscribe to Hank's Think Tank.
It's really good, everyone should watch.
All right, so now we've got a camping fan. These things are actually pretty handy. I think it's rechargeable. So these are pretty cool if you're just, without power and you got nothing else, at least you got this. Big one of those.
I had one of those last summer during Beryl. That's the only way I would sleep. I mean, it was, just enough air to get you to sleep.
Blue ticket, 674016.
Thank you. All right, let's do one more, and then everybody can take a break. You gotta go to the restroom or whatever, stretch your legs, go check out the Ambus. Oh, here we go. A 300-watt solar-generated lithium battery, that's safe, portable power station. These are actually really cool.
674017.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right, guys, go ahead and take a break for a few minutes, and we'll get some more speakers out in a little bit.
I was too, but I would go back to my doctor.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I need.
I know.
Yeah.
So if I've got one substation here, it's going to have usually our substations have maybe 6 meters. But a feeder, it's like something like that. Well, the issue is you've got to have somebody but substations this might be this goes up. I have automatic switching over to this guy. So you're
Oh, there she is. There she is. Yeah, she's a loudmouth.
This next speaker is one that I thought, you know, if something ever happened to my property, I'd probably be running around crazy going, well, what do I do now? How many of you have ever had damage to your house, to your property in one of the storms? So unfortunately, that's quite a few people. I can say I have been lucky, I have not had it, but, there you go. So, what are you supposed to do? Now you've got a tree through your roof. Now you've got water in your house. Now you've got unthinkable things happening. What are you supposed to do? Because you're going to have a lot of emotions and shock and just all of those kinds of things. So we have Keith Fox here with us today. He is a local catastrophic insurance adjuster. He's the guy that comes out to your house and says, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is, you know, what this is going to be worth. But he can tell us now what it is that you should have ready to make that whole process a lot easier for you. Keith.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yeah, my name's Keith Fox. I've been an insurance adjuster for 15 years now. Started in 2010. Handled catastrophic claims in 48 to 50 states. Basically, from anywhere from wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, whatnot. So for here, you know, hurricanes coming. The best thing I believe that anyone can do to prepare themselves for dealing with the insurance company, which nobody likes dealing with, I get it, is you can start by just documenting your house, inventory your house. It doesn't take 15 minutes to go through, snap about 20 photos of the inside of your house, snap the outside of your house. Have those photos on record, have a record for those to show the insurance company this is what it looked like prior to the hurricane. Obviously, they're going to come in and take photos afterwards. They're going to see the damages. You can document all those damages too. You want to keep as much of your records as you can. There's so many different scenarios we could go over, from trees down to roofs being blown off, shingles missing, whatnot. Typically, from the homeowner's insurance side of it, we're not involved in flood. So any kind of water damage that you have inside your house that looked like it came from the ground up, whether it's from a body of water that backed up or if it just saturated the ground, hydrostatic pressure caused the water to back up into your house, that's going to be considered flood. From an insurance standpoint, how I can help you is to get the process started with FEMA on anything related to flood, is get you that denial letter as quickly as possible so you can get it to FEMA, and they need that to get their ball rolling on that. From my side of it, I'm going to be looking at everything that comes from the top down. You know, if I've got water coming from ceiling, through the walls, saturation coming from shingles missing, roof missing, tree down, whatnot. The first thing you're going to want to do whenever you get a loss like that is notify your agent, get that ball rolling, get the claim started. From repair vendor standpoints, I always advise people to stay within your circle. You know, if I work with a group of people and I don't know anybody that does roofing or tarp that can come out and tarp my roof, I'm going to ask them, because 9 times out of 10, those people ain't going to lead you astray, because they see you every day of the week. They're not going to hear about it if they see someone that's bad. Stay away from the out-of-towners. They are going to come in. They're not bad people. We're not bad people. The insurance company's not bad people, but there are bad groups of people on every industry. So know who you're working with, have good references for that. As far as, say, you call someone out to come out there and you've got roof damage and you want to tarp that roof. Always, you do have a duty under the policy to mitigate against any further damage. So if you know you have roof damage, you need to get something on that. You can ask if the insurance company, they're gonna be inundated with claims too. If they're delaying getting involved, getting a call out to you, it's not because they want to, it's because they're just inundated. So you have the right to go and find your Sam & Sons is a local roofer around here. If you get him to come say, hey Sam, come put a tarp on my roof. Yeah, I can be over there and do it now. When he does, ask him to go ahead and snap photos of that and show him what the condition of that roof is right then. Because with me, when I come out as an adjuster, I'm gonna ask you if you have photos of it. I hope you do, because I don't want to take that tarp off, because it's gonna cause more damage, taking the tarp off, re-implying the tarp, and then it's just a pain. If I've got photos of that, I don't need to take the tarp off. We got it watertight, we're shedding water off the roof, that's the whole purpose, that's what we're gonna keep doing. From these guys, Service Master, you got Paul Davis around here, Serv Pro. You got water damage, get them in there. If you think it's bad enough you need to call a mitigation company, yeah, call them. But make sure that they know that they are in contact with your insurance company, because we want them to stabilize it, we just don't want them to start demoing it. We don't want mold growth, because I don't want to come in and gut your house. But I also don't want them to proactively gut it and it didn't need to be gutted, nor do you. And then pretty much from there, always keep your agent involved. You got an agent, that's your advocate. I mean, you're paying him, you're paying the policy to him, he's making money off of it. Utilize him. If you haven't, believe Hank said he had a loss during Borough 40 and ended up with 20. Don't know the circumstances there. I had a buddy that on 13-14 when that tornado came through on the 28th, he was having trouble. He reached out to me. I gave him some insurance advice. He's a buddy. Wasn't a company I worked for. But there are provisions within the policy that you can utilize to not take a $20,000 loss too. Honestly, the reason why I got in this is when the market crashed in 08, I was in the home building side. So when the bubble burst, I thought, let's go to a recession-proof job. Sounded like it's good. It was, but like I said, I've been everywhere. I've been cussed out in Polynesian, Spanish, Texan, English. Anyway, but it's part of it. I got into it too. I do like the cat side of it. As you can tell, I'm not organized to have a slideshow because I'm a cat adjuster. I live on chaos and catastrophe. But I do believe in helping people put stuff back together. I'm no different than you. I live right here too. I have to put my house back together too. I have to pay those outrageous premiums on stupid 2% deductibles. But that's stuff we can do. What I can't do is like see people in need and not reach out and help them. So pretty much what I got. I'm not a real gift for the gab, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. If it's a question that doesn't pertain to your policy, because I don't know your policy, by all means you can ask it. There is some tricky stuff when it comes to trees down, and sometimes that's involved in reading your policy too. But sure, go ahead, and I hope I can hear you. So
it is about trees because I had trees down in Beryl, and I ended up paying for the removal because I didn't really know what the process was, who paid for what. So can you cover that?
Can I cover it? No, I'm not going to cover it. But from an insurance standpoint, here's how trees are involved. When it comes to trees, and trees are not covered for wind. And what I mean by that is under, don't want to say every policy, all the policies that I've worked, trees being knocked down by wind is not covered. However, if the tree is laying on a covered structure, meaning your house, your garage, detached garage, your fence, a gazebo. I covered one for a guy there in Beryl because it was laying on his swing set. And it was a big tree. And I stretched it just to get it covered. But I got to get it off of any covered structure. The swing set would be covered under contents. The dwelling would be covered under dwelling, and the detached garage or fence would be covered under your other structures. So In order for me to be able to facilitate the repairs, meaning I have to get it off of the house, I have to get it off the garage, off the fence, I have to get it off swing set to haul that off and buy him a new swing set. So I have to pay a reasonable cost to cut that up, or to take it off first, lay it on the ground, cut it up and haul it away. Okay? Where it becomes tricky is when it's laying on the yard. If it's laying out in your yard, insurance does not insure the land. They only insure the structures on the land. So if it's laying across your yard, it would just be best thing to do. I talked about my guy on 1314. He had about 40 trees down. Only 2 of them laid on his house, and 1 laid on a fence. All those other 37 trees was his responsibility. I went out Sunday, on that one Sunday, and helped him cut up a bunch of them. Then it just became so much, we reached out to, I think, the Southern Baptist Conference has a disaster team, look into charitable organizations. But, to go back, if it's laying on the land, it's your responsibility. You can cut it up, use it for firewood, sell it for firewood, whatever you want to do, but we don't insure the land. Where it becomes tricky though is if it's laying on the land and across your driveway. So I have a driveway that leads up to my house. It's laying across the land, it's laying over the driveway. I have to cut it all that driveway because I have to give you access to get back into your property. Also, if it's laying across in front of your door, I have to give you access back into the house. It's called access and egress. You have to be able to come and go from your house. So, does that mean they cut up all the tree? I don't know. There's different ways they handle it. Some people take and cut this side of the driveway and that side of the driveway and just move that off the driveway, and the rest of it that's on the grass is your responsibility.
What about, okay, so I had a neighbor's tree fall in my yard, and my tree fell in my neighbor's yard, and I had another neighbor's tree fall in my yard. So what am I responsible for?
Whatever falls on your house or your covered structure. It don't matter whose own tree it is. You're not liable for the tree. You can't control the wind. Unless that there was a dead tree out there that you've been told to remove and you didn't remove it, and there's documentation that somebody supports that, then you're liable because you refuse to remove the tree. But if it's your tree, let's just not say the 3. Your tree is in your yard and it falls over on the neighbor's house. Their insurance covers that removal of that tree.
Even just on the land, though, if it just falls on the land, I'm responsible.
Neither people are getting any coverage if it falls on the land because
No,
it's.
but just paying to get rid of it. Just in general.
Oh, that would be between you and the neighbor. I wouldn't have anything to do with that on the insurance side. So, let me understand your question. If you're talking about a tree that just fell from your yard over into their yard and is laying on the grass on both your yard, right? You got no fence involved, nothing. It's just laying on the ground. Hopefully, y'all are like each other, and I hope. And you go, hey, neighbor, I'm going to cut from here back to mine and remove my tree, and you cut and remove your tree. Because your neighbor's got to understand you're not responsible. You didn't make the tree fall. I mean, if he wants to blame God, that's something else, but I wouldn't go that route either. Does that make sense, or am I open?
No, you are. I was actually trying to remember the situation because I had one person who was removing the trees tell me one story that I'm responsible for this and this and this. But my insurance guy said, no, you're responsible for what's on your yard unless this tree is, like you said, unless it's damaged. If it's in good shape and it falls on your yard, you're responsible. They're not responsible.
Yeah, well, the insurance guy shouldn't tell you anything if it falls on the yard because we're not providing coverage either way, and we're not legal. So I would never give legal advice on that. What I would advise you is hopefully you have a good neighbor that you can go talk to and say, hey, I understand it's my tree and I'm really, really sorry, but the tree was in good health. It was 80-mile-an-hour wind knocked my tree down. I feel really bad for you. Can you help me split the cost? Because you really don't have to take it off their land. They're not going to come back. I'm not legal. I'm not legal. Okay? So I know I'm not going to set court, but I don't know of anybody that's going to say you're responsible because you would have caused the tree to fall. It was an act of God. Okay. Questions? Hello.
You said that you don't cover flood. Can you buy flood insurance?
You can buy flood insurance. You can buy it through NFIP, which is FEMA. You can buy it through some carriers. Liberty Mutual sells a flood policy. There are other agents that sell specific flood policies. I was telling Kelly when I moved down here, I told my wife, I didn't live here. I grew up in tornado country. She grew up here. I said, when I move here, I'm not living here without a flood policy. I don't care if I'm in a floodplain or not, because I want to go to sleep at night. Because it doesn't matter. If you're not in a floodplain, give it a few years, you may be in one. But we put enough concrete down here, we don't let the water go anywhere. It's going to go somewhere. So I'm going to have that protection. And if you're not in floodplain, maybe a $400, $600 policy for a year. That's good. That means if it's coming in, I had one during Harvey, and I didn't worry about my stuff. I wanted to put the stuff I wanted to protect. I moved the second floor. The other ones, I was like, no, let it go because I got flood insurance. So. But yes, you can buy it.
Do you contract for different insurance companies?
Me, I'm not an independent. I started off as an independent. I work for the carrier.
So can you give us advice on what you have seen the best and the worst for covering roofing claims?
There is a shift. There's a shift in the whole industry. COVID caused a shift in the whole industry. I'm not real happy in my industry right now. Just because it's become a lot. It was a test model for them to see where we can send third party out there to try to do stuff on the desk. I like being in the field. I like being out in front of the people. I'm not one of those, I am Gen X, so I don't even know what that means, but I think it's something like born in the 70s. I'm pretty lippy, might talk a little bit of crap, but I'm very respectful. I like talking to people face to face. Even though this is not my comfort zone, had I known that I would be talking in front of a group of people, I would not have been doing this. But a buddy of mine asked me as an agent, said, hey, would you mind going and talking to them? I said, sure. And I was like, what did I just say sure for? But can I tell you who the best one is? No. I would say whatever you do, always go something that you can do a la carte versus, I'm not going to say I've worked for some, but you can get some of those policies that have all the bells and whistles in it, but you don't need all that. Liberty Mutual's one. They had all the bells and whistles, but you're going to pay a lot of money in the premiums for those bells and whistles, and you're never going to use the bells and whistles. So always go with an a la carte where you can say, I want this, I want that, I want that. And always go with, I always say go with an agent. Don't go with you buy it online, I don't even know what that means, but where you go and just purchase it online. Now, I want that guy that if I'm mad, he's going to hear about it every day, every morning at 5 o'clock from me until he starts putting pressure on them to not make me mad. Yeah. And just because I'm going to call him, yeah, before he has more come, I really want to wake him up, so, because I want him to be mad because I'm mad. But, yeah. It's not a glorious industry. It's not a feel-good business. I mean, most people, like I said, I've been cuffed, but I don't ever take it personal. I'm there to do a job. I don't blow smoke up in his backside, so I try to shoot straight with everybody. At the end of the day, carriers do make the ultimate decision. Sometimes I get my hand slapped. Sometimes I get by with doing stuff that I know I'm going to get my hand slapped, but I'm going to do it anyway to help the insured. Because I always believe that without the insured, I don't have a job, so I'm going to err on the side of the insured. But what I can tell you right now, and as I explained, Kelly's was, if you want to start tomorrow, next week, it takes about 15 minutes to walk through your house and just shoot pictures. The energy guy said we have one of the best tools, and that is your phone. So go through your house, because you will take pictures and show what the condition of each room is. So they can't come in there and say, that was there prior to the storm. And you don't want to have that back and forth. So just document. If you go after the storm hits, document. Receipts on everything. If you can't go to, if you've got a generator running, you're buying gas, you're owed for that additional cost of that gas to keep because there's part of mitigation. To keep that electrical running, I do owe for mitigation to keep the house from developing mold. So you can always present that. Sometimes the insurance companies will push back on that. But I always present the gas receipts. They're not going to buy you a generator because you get to keep the generator. So if you go buy a new generator, they're not going to reimburse you because now they're never going to make you better. So at the end of the time, if you buy it, they're not going to pay you back because now after this storm, you get to keep it for 10, 12 more years. So always, but document. You go, I know gas is going to be limited. Go to the gas station, can't get a printed receipt. Take a picture of the pump. Take a picture with your phone. That's the best thing we got, and I hate phones. But you can document everything you do in that day. You take a picture of that pump and then get that credit card receipt and show that those two match up. And then they can't never argue back. Make it where it's hard for them to dispute you and argue with you.
If you buy insurance at today's replacement at today's cost, in other words, what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to repair your house at today's price and not the price you bought when you bought the insurance cost.
Everything's going to be run off the current price rate to pay for your house. Depending if you have an actual cash value policy, that's something we get deep in the woods on. I don't want to get too much in insurance, but there are some policies that only pay you the value of the house as it stands. But most houses have replacement costs, or most policies do.
Full replacement.
You're getting deep in the woods, but yes, I don't know the circumstances. I would buy full replacement costs. I actually on my house, when I talked about a la carte, is I bought full replacement costs on everything but the roof, because I know my roof's over, and I know I'm going to have to come out of pocket. Right now, I told them they're not going to insure it. It's a 23-year-old roof. So I bought an ACV, what's called an ACV roof endorsement on mine. So that means if I have a loss, I want to pay all of mine, but I already know I'm paying out of pocket. I'm going to pay, after this hurricane season, a new roof going on my house anyway. So, yes, but when it comes time for the loss, say the loss happens in August 8th, like Burl did last year. Or, yeah, July 8th. So when I come out there, I'm running off of July pricing. That means I'm running off of July pricing they're pulling pricing from Southern Shingles right there on 59 or 99 and 45. They're pulling all the current pricing right there. When they depreciate it though, they're going to depreciate the house and they're going to base it on if you have replacement costs. They're going to hold that depreciation until you bring it to full replacement cost. And that can go really deep, and I don't want to go into that, but if you have questions, you can always hit me up. Just don't hit me up and be mad at me because I didn't run the insurance company.
Thank you.
Keith Fox, everybody.
Okay, moving along. This will come to an end sooner or later. All right, got a good friend of mine, Stan Hollowbound, service master. Come on up here, man. Tell us what we need to do. We got water in the house. Deep water, lots of water.
All right. Well, thank you. It's thanks Hank for inviting us back this year, and it's an honor to get to speak after all of the county officials. And want to add a couple things to what Keith just said. Taking the pictures is really easy on your phone. Digital cameras that our phones have are fantastic. Just go into each room and take one from opposite corners, and you'll catch everything in the room, and you can like zoom in later and get incredible detail from that. So that's a great thing to do before, and of course after we have the image. So I'm a service master, and we've been in this area for 33 years, helping our friends and neighbors.
Yes, please.
Special thanks to Brittany, who's one of my co-workers that always helps me out. We've been helping our friends and neighbors in this area for 33 years. Service Master's been doing what we do all over the country for
80 some years. So we help homeowners and we help businesses get back in their business when they have damage from a fire, from plumbing, from other things, people running the vehicles into homes and buildings. That's what we do most of the time, but during certain times of the year when there's some kind of a storm or a major event, then we go help people across the country, and they come here and help us when we need them. I've been to every state from this way down to Florida and turned my way up the other coast to help people from hurricanes with names like Sandy, Michael, Katrina, and so on and so forth. And we've even had crews from here, from this part of Texas, go up to Camden to help our northern neighbors. And that border is extremely hard to get across, so keep that in mind. We like to help our community get back on its feet. People need a place to live. People also need a place to shop, to buy clothes and food, to go to school, to worship. Those are really important parts of our communities that hold them together as well. And so we try to make our plans to help each other. So Jason or Brittany, anything that I haven't asked? Oh, we have some information there on our table. I know somebody was looking for a list of things for their kit. It's not, it doesn't have everything you would on there, but it's a good, my memory will do better with that than it would trying to put it on my phone and write it down. But this is where we live. We're right here in Russell Palmer. So our people, we have people right now in Tennessee on a facility that is a distribution center for a home goods store that we have probably 20 of them here in Houston. Lost their roof a week or so in a tornado. So we've got people here. We've had crews in Arkansas helping get a school put back together so kids can get back in school after a tornado there. We've had crews up in Massachusetts and Connecticut this year helping schools and churches after fires that happen. And when we have a Harvey or a big event here where we have more problems than we can handle with our local resources, those crews from those states and those service master offices, they come here and help us out. So that's what it's all about. Any questions? Yes, sir. Yes, we do with the mitigation to put buildings and homes back together. Yes, sir. Yes.
How long does it take for mold to grow after water has penetrated a structure?
It can grow pretty quick. 24, 48 hours is when it gets really going. You want to kind of get ahead of it before that. But,
important to dry it.
Right. Yes. All right. Anybody that doesn't work with me. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, guys, so we've got some really great organizations here in East Montgomery County. And as you can see, there's a lot of people involved in making sure that we're all safe, protected, and trying to give you as much information as we can before one of these events happens. Our last speaker tonight, I'd like to introduce to you, her name is Tricia Bledsoe, and she is the new Executive Director of Mission Northeast. For those of you who don't know about Mission Northeast, it's a little bit more than a food bank. They do a whole lot of stuff, and one of the new things that they're going to be doing is a little bit more of the outreach and assistance before, during, and after an event like this. So if you'll give her a warm welcome, I'll appreciate it. She's brand new. Good to have her with us.
Thank you so much, Hank, Jackie. What a fantastic program they put together for you guys tonight. It's my first time to be here. Fantastic. Really good. I grew up here, graduated from Hurricane High School. So hurricanes, we all know, the drill, right? And yet it doesn't hurt to go over it all over again. And so in Mission Northeast, we're starting to get prepared for hurricane season and the holidays, which is kind of how we roll around here, right? And so we are putting together some help. We've already stocked our shelves, ready for those boxes after a storm that you're gonna need. Just those kind of quick items. Like I think one of you mentioned, things that you don't have to heat up, that you don't have to have special equipment to take care of. So those are already on our shelves. We're getting ready for that, and we'll have more coming as the storm, after the fact, things like that. So I just want you to know that's always a resource for you. So please come see us, and we're working on some other initiatives to kind of be there for our first responders and just support them a little bit as they don't ever get to go home from the storm. They're there out, I think someone mentioned, they're out for 2 weeks before. They don't go home during the storm. We're all hunkered down, we're supposed to be, because they would like to be able to be safe as well. But they are out making sure that we're safe. So I just appreciate that. What a wonderful, just amazing outpouring of watching unity in the community. Such a great place. As I mentioned, I grew up here, my parents grew up here, and I'm really proud right now to see my community come together and work together to just support each other and just to do it with such grace. And so I'm honored to be here. Thank you. So this is our closing prayer. If you'll bow with me. Father, we are so grateful to be here. We're grateful for each other. We're grateful that you've knit us together, and that these storms, while they are difficult and they stretch us, and sometimes we suffer because of them. At the same time, Father, they've revealed us. They reveal what you put in us, resiliency and strength and just compassion for each other. And we pray, Father, that this next hurricane season, we ask first that you turn back the storms and that the predictions would not be true. But if they do come this way, Father, we ask that you would just continue to put wisdom upon each of the men and women that you have placed in key roles, Father, to protect us and to steer the ship. We thank you for their unity and their friendship, their camaraderie. We ask that you continue to strengthen it, and that our community will continue to be safe because of it. And Father, we just ask that as we go into this season, that we would not only walk out of here with knowledge, but we would help our neighbor. We ask, Father, that you would give us wisdom and guidance on what we should prepare for our own home, but also that we would have the same spirit that we've seen here tonight to reach out. And we just ask that you would just cover us tonight and bless us. And may this be a hurricane season not so wrought with pain and frustration, but the human spirit of our community. God, you would just continue to bless it and bring it to light. In Jesus' name, we thank you. Amen. Good night.
Now comes the fun part.
I think it works, yes. I think yours is winding down, but it's been used a lot.
What you got? Next up, ladies and gentlemen,
We have a cell phone charger in the color of light.
Six 74006.
In the color of dark.
674052.
woo! There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's it.
Okay, so now we have more of the solar crank radio, flashlight, and power bank. These are very handy.
And Troy Wooden has now set the bar a little bit higher. So
674-058. And the next winner, 679-124. All right.
It's me, it's me.
The next one, 674-048. All right. Okay, now we have 2 coolers. One the color of ice, and the next the color of fire, going on in space.
Those are 48 quart coolers. Scream Ogneb. That's bingo backwards.
674-065.
Ogneb.
Thank you.
That's pretty.
I picked that one out.
679-103.
And next we have another portable power station. Is this a 300? Another 300 watt solar generator. Okay, power station.
674-062. 062. All right.
How lucky can you get? A camping fan.
It helps you sleep, let me tell you. 679-105.
Oh, here we go. All right. Now this whole kit is a shop vac, it's a tarp, it's a bunch of batteries, and a bunch of flashlights. This was provided by our buddies at Service Master. And we even get to include one of their cards. This is a great gift, I'm telling you right now.
679-121.
Class.
They might have left. They might have left.
679-121.
All right, we're going again.
674-013. Okay, it's not Jody. 674-013.
Service Master gonna take it back.
I guess we're losing people.
679-123.
That was my wild card. I would never do anything like that.
Yes, come on, Tim. Congratulations, sir.
Am I supposed to carry all this back here?
No, sir, I'll help you with it. You just set it down. Set it down, I'll help you with it. Next, we have 2 more of these fancy schmancy cell phone chargers, one in the color of light and one in the color of dark. We're going light first.
674-080.
Good Lord, how many people left?
674-068. All right.
It's like it's Price is Right or something, I don't know. Come on down.
Okay, and the next one, that is the color of darkness, 679115.
Damn, colorblind, that's what I call it. There you go. Fits in your pocket. Next up, we have more of these. More of these fancy crank radios, and it's also a flashlight. It's also another cell phone charger too. It's everything wrapped up in one.
674066.
Woo, bingo!
There we go. Bingo, odd, it's all the same stuff.
I wanted this one. I'm excited about this.
There you go. Thanks.
You're excited, you're excited.
All right.
All right, 679125.
Come on. There you go.
Appreciate it.
Okay, now we have a 600 watt power station. 600 watt power, portable power station. It's an R600. I don't know what that means, but hey, it's heavy.
679120.
Don't charge it all in one place.
I'll try.
Okay.
All right, Leatherface. You got a brand new chainsaw. Who do you think donated this? That's right, me.
674020.
All right. For trees only. If you don't like your neighbors, you can't use that on. Can anybody guess what this is? Exactly.
674088.
Come on.
No, it's a, you turned in a crank radio. This is a cell phone charger.
Cell phone charger. It's sophisticated. Dark.
679096.
And when I see you next week, we'll make sure you got this thing on you. Crank up radio, flashlight, power bank. It's all in one. Does everything except make sandwiches.
So, no, it doesn't, I'm pretty sure. 674076.
All right. Another crank radio. Hope we're out of these.
679114. Here, go ahead.
It was the last one? All right. You got the last one. There you go. All right, next up. A 300 watt portable, we've been there, y'all know what this is.
Solar generator. 674008.
008. Thank you. Another cooler. Too bad all these coolers are empty.
674021.
Yeah, I like the coolers. tanks. Another one. The last cooler. And guess what color it is? Zach?
674041.
20 or 21 beers, I'm not sure. Depends on what it is. All right, another tank spec division.
674087. 087.
All right. There you go, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Another 300-watt portable power station.
679098.
All right. There you go, sir. Last rechargeable, portable, small, dark fan.
674054.
You're not having fun yet? Yeah. I hope so. Okay, this is the last of the 300-watt power stations. We got a lot of these, and these are great. I don't know what all they'll power up, but if they'll power up the TV for an hour, you can watch an episode of my show.
679107.
I live in an RV, that's great.
Well, there you go, it's perfect.
Actually, I wanted the other one, the big one.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Okay, this is the last 600-watt. That's twice a 300-watt. And it's also light colored up.
674053.
Woohoo! Look at this. Wow. Okay, let me come get this. Okay, so this is a portable air conditioner, and it'll do, I guess, a room, a living room, a kitchen, and I don't know, a house, RV, something.
Tent.
Yeah, it's decent.
674083.
And it's not heavy at all.
083.
083.
So do it again.
Dude, okay, she's done about how nice. Donating it again.
Thank you, Jan Peterson. Yes. Okay. 674012.
Over here.
All right. Don't pick that thing up like it's light.
I'll get it on the way out.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, you got the generator and the grill.
All right, next is I'm going to have Jan Peterson come up, if you would, Jan. She donated the gas grill. It also comes with a 250-gallon propane tank, right? Free gas for life. Okay, it's a 5-gallon tank. She's going to come up and draw a ticket for that. What a nice gift.
Okay, 674037.
Gary and Mr. Brown propane. Did you bring a truck?
Trailer or something.
U-Haul? Something?
That's it.
Great, thanks.
Take the propane tank with you if you want.
All right, so we have the generator left. It's a 3,600 watt, I believe. It's dual fuel, so it runs on gas or propane. And yeah, I mean, so this is the grand finale. I don't think there's anything left after this. So we're gonna close it out with that. Yeah, no pressure at all. All right, so here's the deal. MSED came to us and they said, hey, what can we do to make this thing great? I said, just be here. And so they were here. And we appreciate you guys with MSED. All right, you ready?
Six, 74063. Come on down.
All right.
Your church supposed to be the lights, you want generators.
Fantastic. I got the box to the thing, it's got all the paperwork and everything else. So.
Thank y'all.
All right, guys.
Thank y'all very much.
You're welcome. This concludes the 4th annual Hurricane Preparedness Forum. Guys, the main thing I want you to take out of this was the information that we provided. The gifts are all great, but I want you guys to be safe and take care of your plants, animals, pets, and people. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.